YouTube, what's going on? HeirofCarthage here, and I think this is probably my last focused battle for the Wood Elves. I'm not actually playing this battle, but many of y'all are like, the Wood Elves, their strength is skirmishing. Give us a battle with some skirmishing. Well, I have said battle here for you, courtesy of Prussian Prince, who has been a longtime YouTuber and player of Total War, more recently moving into Warhammer 2, and he has sent me this replay, and he's going to be playing Wood Elves versus Tomb Kings. He's got 3 WAYWATCHERS out front, so for you skirmish fans, it's about to happen. There are 3 Eternal Guards in back, 2 Wild Riders to help protect, a Glady on a Dragon with Prey of Anathrema, and then we have a Spellsinger with Earthblood also on an Eagle. And then the Tomb King army he's up against will put his skirmishing to the test. There are many units of Nehekara Horsemen, and then you have Archon the Black with Fata Buna and Spirit Leech supporting. Those are things that can be quite annoying for the Wood Elves. There are going to be plenty of skeletons in order to try and tie down infantry, and then there is a Sphinx of Uskef here. Good choice, considering there's a dragon on the battlefield, and then we have a Necrotect on a Chariot, also a good choice because Chariot's quite good against archers. So this is going to be an interesting one. There are, six very mobile units? Very mobile units for the Tomb Kings, and only 3 Wild Riders, and then the Dragon and Eagle to help protect, plus there are Carrion approaching from the rear. So this will put a skirmish build to the test, and we will see if Prussian Prince is able to pull it off. Now with 3 WAYWATCHERS and Prey of Anathrema, if you get a good position, you can pretty much delete units from the battlefield pretty quickly. Like I said, there's going to have to be a lot of careful here in order to pull this off, because you only have 3 Wild Riders and a very limited infantry to help you get the job done. Early on, you can see the Glady moving in this direction, the Necrotect pushing forward. We're going to get an initial volley here on the Sphinx of Uskep, who decides that doesn't want to be here, but it's too late for that. It's going to be trapped and hit hard by the 3 WAYWATCHERS. But the Carrion arrive just in time to disrupt the party and potentially save their Sphinx here, who did lose half of its hit points. But otherwise, now there's a desperate engagement for the Wood Elves where they're forced to commit all their troops early. This is not where they want to be, and so the Carrion are paying major dividends early in this fight, allowing the Nehekara Horsemen to push into the skirmish heart of this army. It also forces the Glady and the Spellsinger into the ground, because this fight is desperate. The Wood Elves cannot afford to lose too many of their archers. You can see they are attempting to get them back. There's a Fata Buna early on a Wild Rider, and that is going to be painfully costly for the Wood Elves, and there's nothing they can do about it. Absolutely nothing. And you can hear it going off over and over again in the weird glitch that has never seemed to be fixed. CA, please! CA, please! It does that sometimes with Fata Buna and Spirit Leech. You'll see the Glady get back up in the air, away from the Sphinx of Uskef. If you look here, the WAYWATCHERS have taken some damage, and there's another unit of them kind of still trapped over here. The Sphinx of Uskef getting into fights that it's gonna love, causing a lot of damage to Wild Riders. Pretty good breath attack here from the Glady. Wasn't perfect, but it got some damage done, and now you're gonna see some distance here for the WAYWATCHERS attempting to get away. Over here, the Wild Riders nicely intercept basically all 3 Nehekara Horsemen. A bit of a mistake to engage all these units at once, because the WAYWATCHERS are in the background, but here comes a Spirit Leech, just trying to pull away at the Wild Riders. Any of that magic from Archon the Black becomes useful. A Prey of Anathrema desperately being used here to keep the Nehekara Horsemen from reaching the WAYWATCHERS, as these units are absolutely critical if indeed we're going to see a Wood Elf victory. But the Tomb King player is playing the way they should be right now. All in. Force the Wood Elves to commit what little infantry and cavalry they have early, and then try and wait it out in the late game. If any of the fast movers make it into the late game for the Tomb Kings, then it will be game over for the Wood Elves. But if the WAYWATCHERS make it relatively unscathed into the late game, it will be game over Tomb Kings. It's a dangerous game here because you can't just rout Tomb King units because they're undead. And the Nehekar Horsemen here, a fantastic pick. They have pressured the Waywatchers non-stop since the beginning of the game. Some Wild Riders that have come back into the fight will be able to make a run over here and attempt to put a stop to some of these units. You still got a Necrotect and a Sphinx of Uskef and Archon the Black, who are all in pretty solid health. More Wild Riders back here, and the Spellsinger is also back in the fight. The Liber Mortis is also going to be a big benefit for Archon's troops here, as it's going to help protect them in key situations. One of the Waywatchers is going to die here with a considerable amount of ammo, so this is a tough break for Prussian Prince. However, he does manage to get 2 units away with most of their unit models and a fair bit of ammo, enough that he can go be quite dangerous. The Spellsinger is moving over to help support them, and then the Glady is looking for some breath attack destruction here, which it did get. Caused some pretty good damage to some of this infantry. You can see they do have quite a few kills. And there's a lot of ammunition left on the Glade Lord too, so the potential for sniping is still there. If you look at this, the Wild Riders are gone. This unit of Waywatchers cannot get away. It's about to rout, and it's going to turn into a very desperate situation here for the Wood Elves. It's not over yet, though. They do have some capability if it's played well. When you play these all-skirmish armies, it is very, very challenging. Very challenging. There's little room for error. So the Necrotect was deleted with the Prey of Anathema. That leaves a Sphinx and Archon. And if those can be dealt with, probably the rest of the Tomb King army can be dealt with. There are Wild Riders and Eternal Guard that are coming back from routing, plus some that are still over here. The Wood Elves definitely down on the power bar at the moment, but they do have a chance to win this. A few Waywatchers left here with their ammo. They definitely want to get away so they can use that ammo. Over here you're going to see some healing, and the units are going to flee back from the Sphinx of Uskef and attempt to take it out of the game. A dangerous situation here as the dragon is forced to land to stop Archon and his Sphinx. Don't blame Prussian Prince. You gotta do what you gotta do at this point. However, Archon is pretty quick. He's going to be able to kind of keep hitting the dragon in the butt and keeping it on the ground, and this is turning into quite a dangerous situation for the Glady with the Sphinx close on her tail and infantry to help kind of ward off some of the skirmishers here. So yeah, very, very dangerous situation here. The Glady is actually about to rout. The Sphinx of Uskef, however, also about to be destroyed. So kind of a win for the Tomb Kings, kind of a win for the Wood Elves there, but it's more of a win right now for the Tomb Kings. The Glady takes to the air, and Archon immediately turns around to go support his troops. Almost kind of wonder if Archon shouldn't have escorted underneath the dragon to see if he could get it off the battlefield. There is a Wild Rider back here, though, that Archon doesn't likely want to get mixed up with. There are some Eternal Guards coming back, but the ammo is pretty much gone for the Waywatchers. There's very little they can do, but 2 Eternal Guard, the dragon is back, the Spellsinger is gone, there's no more healing. However, the Glady does have a significant amount of ammunition left. If she can use it to good effect, then this battle can be turned. However, if Archon is able to summon some magic, remember that he has Spirit Leech. It will be devastating for the Glady to take a Spirit Leech this late in the game. So you're going to see the dragon try and pick off some of these skeleton spears away from Archon. He's now being drawn back in, and the Glady really does not want to be here when Archon arrives because just can't afford that damage, but took it anyway. A big hit from Archon there, and a pretty critical blow for the Glady, whose leadership is suffering. However, the Wild Riders being here do make it possible for the Glade Lord to get back in the air, and she will have a chance to start trying to snipe at Archon. Going to be a summon of skeletons here. Archon is just annoying that way, and it is a very nice summon, just in the right spot to block the escape of the Wild Riders, who were pretty desperately needed here. There's some skeleton infantry over here that's out of position. You can already see Prussian Prince moving in to pick them off. This does look like a Tomb Guard. Remember, this method here, where he's trying to knock these Tomb Guard out, for most factions works great. They'll rout, Tomb Kings aren't going to rout. Makes this a tricky situation because the Elves blobbed up is not what they want. You can see here the Glady putting some shots on Archon, slowly pulling down his hit points, and Archon really wants these Waywatchers. Can't say I blame them. He's going to want to take all the Wood Elf units off the field that he can. Look at these Tomb Guard holding out incredibly well here. Their reinforcements close behind now, which is a lot of Skeleton Warriors. There's a whole other Tomb Guard unit here as well. So an uphill battle for the Wood Elves at hand for sure. However, the Glade Lord's slow but steady damage on Archon is adding up, and he is being weakened significantly. However, there's very little left on the ground for the Wood Elves at this point. There is a Wild Rider that is regrouped in the background, but there goes the Eternal Guard. Now it's just left to Waywatchers in melee, and they are by no means any type of melee specialist. Archon down to 694 hit points, and he's now pushing forward because he has a Spirit Leech. And this could be the end for the Glady. That is going to take its toll. There is no healing. Archon down to 533. The Glade Lord down to 216. And routed. It is possible that the Glade Lord comes back, and she does have 5 more ammunition. And then there are some regrouped Wood Elves. May be able to pull this off. It's going to depend on whether Archon can be routed. You can see the Glade Lord not yet returning to combat, but expect she will. Very close battle here, and this was tough. There were so many mobile units for Prussian Prince to try and stop, and that arrow coming in there tells us that the Glade Lord is back, but then she immediately turns around and shatters, even though nothing was near. That is a very tough break for the Wood Elves. It is very strange there, too. Like, the Glade Lord comes back, and then no unit anywhere near it, and turns around and routs. So, very tough break for Prussian Prince. You can see here a desperate attempt to salvage the battle, but there's just not enough Wood Elves remaining. No leadership support, and then you have Unbreakable Tomb Guard at the behest of Archon, and it is just going to be too much. Too much for the Wood Elves. It's going to be a close one, a very close one. Well played on both sides. Some mistakes on both sides. Some great play on both sides. Definitely enjoyed this one. Look at this. Wood Elves throwing everything they can back into it, but their troops rout before they can even get back into combat. I don't think they had what it takes here to overcome the Tomb Guard, and this is going to be a close victory for Archon the Black and his Tomb Kings. So there you go. Got some skirmish play. It is not easy to pull off. It takes a lot of practice, and it takes a lot of discipline. It is a difficult way to play. If you are very good at it, then it is a difficult thing to overcome if you're coming up against it. So Hadre's good game, Prussian Prince, good game. Definitely appreciated seeing this one. This is an interesting matchup between these two factions. The Tomb Kings are not to be underestimated when it comes to their ability to suppress heavy range factions like this, because they're unbreakable, and they do have a lot of speed units and the capability to punch through lines and to challenge a backline. And then Archon the Black with his summons and death magic, definitely a solid pick, I think, against the Wood Elves. That one Fate of Buna cost a lot of magic, but in a game like this, where there's only 3 Wild Riders to begin with, and one of them basically gets taken off the field by Fate of Buna, it's tough. That is tough. I mean, that is a very effective way to help defeat your enemy in that case. So, GG to both players. Thank you, Prussian Prince, for sending it in. I think that's going to go ahead and conclude my little Wood Elf focus. What faction should I do next? Head over, join the Discord. I'm going to go on there, talk to you all, see what faction I should go work on next week, and get started with them. HeirofCarthage signing out for now. Hope to see you all soon.